Hey guys, what's going on? It's Moff here with my long lost friend Jack Napier. Jack and I first got in touch a couple of years ago when I first kind of came into the space. We caught up a couple of weeks ago. I think he dropped into a comment section on one of our female POV videos, and we've been chatting behind the scenes, trying to find some time to do a little bit of a podcast together. And we don't have a like set topics, or we just wanted to kind of catch up and see how things are going with one another. But if you guys are watching this from my channel and you're sort of new to Jack and his work, Jack, why don't you just do a quick intro to tell people a little bit about you and go from there.
Will do, man. First of all, thanks for having me. Like I said, it's been
Pleasure.
ages since you and I talked, and this is the first time you and I talked like face to face. It was usually just comment sections. But my name's Jack Napier. I have been podcasting, narrating, online personal training, and overall coaching guys for about 6 to 7 years now. Co-host of the Rule Zero panel, author, and that's about everything I do. I have narrated multiple books, some of which from Black Label Logic, Carl from Black Label Logic. I've narrated books for Aaron Clarey, and right now I am working on Praxeology 4 by Ryan Stone. That's kind of who I am.
And these are the audiobooks versions, so you go on Audible, so they'll be able to hear your voice when you're reading these, yeah?
Yes, correct.
Cool. Now, and you've written your own book. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah.
I did, actually. On Women, beautiful cover by Ryan Stone, by the way. I saw his work on his own previous covers. I'm like, I would love for you to make the cover of my book. It's 200 pages of condensed red pill lessons, successes, failures, and notes swapped. All the lessons I got from dating, all the lessons I got from talking to guys in this space over the last half a decade. And it's now available on Amazon via paperback and Kindle. The audiobook will be worked on because since I'm Dutch, I can't post it on Audible. I was just about to mention that Gendernomics also isn't on Audible. That's available on my Substack, jacknapier.substack.com. And the audiobook for On Women will also be available via Substack when it comes out. I will be looking into other audio platforms. I know that Apple Music would be able to do it, and something via Spotify, but I still need to figure that out, how that completely works. Like the Europeans and Amazon don't mix all that well, unfortunately.
Right on. Yeah, very cool, man. I'd love to get my hands on a copy. A nice signed copy would be awesome. So we'll talk about that.
Oh, I'd love to.
But that'd be great. And you know what? I think that's a good place to start because you mentioned one of the things that I've maybe tried to actively stop doing is using the term, and maybe this is right or wrong, I'm not quite sure. I've started to kind of, or for a little while, I started moving away from terminology like unplugging, the matrix, red pill, stuff like that. But it seems like some of you guys, some of these OGs have been doing it for a long time. And so you guys know, Rule Zero is a show that's been running for forever. It's, you guys have gone through dozens of different guys that have come on, hosted, co-hosted, that sort of thing. It's one of the shows that I used to watch every single Saturday when I first started kind of my own journey on this. Guys like Rollo and Ryan Stone and Jack and Aaron Clarey, the list kind of goes on and on. But what I kind of noticed through being in the scenes or the shadows of this space was that now red pill is like a punchline for a lot of people, or it's like, oh, you're like one of those red pill guys. And the term has almost lost all meaning. It's been bastardized to a point where it's like, what's the point in still using it? Or is there a better way to get our point across? Or is it just like whatever they think, we don't care because we know what the red pill is and we're just going to, like, does it get exhausting having to re-explain it over and over? Or do you just say, whatever, we're not changing our tune and we're just going to keep doing it?
A little bit of both. It depends on who. Like when I see a woman online being like, oh, the red pill's toxic, like, okay, dear, that's cute. Like, right. I literally cannot care less what a woman thinks about this space. And not in a misogynistic sense, but more as in the red pill was never meant for women.
It's not for you.
Like,
yeah,
like period. So whatever your opinion is, I don't care. When it comes to dudes and like these big brands, also depending on who it says, because shitting on the red pill is also a marketing tool these days. It's like, oh, we had a guy a while back on Substack, a big guy on Substack, by the way, is doing very well, but he started out with like the basic red pill principles, and he was okay using the terminology. And like out of nowhere, now that he's like 6,000 or something on Substack, he's like, "Oh, I disavow the red pill." It's like, dude, disavowing the red pill is like disavowing car mechanics. It's like, what are you gonna do now? Put a nail in the wall with a hacksaw? Because the red pill is a praxology. It's the science of praxology, where it's like, I want A, how do I get A? Like you drive a nail in the wall with a hammer. If I do X, woman will find me attractive, kind of thing. Now, I've been told I need to do XYZ by my parents, by my teachers, so that women find me attractive. That turned out to be wrong. So what do I actually need to do? That part is the red pill. I always compare it to Nintendo Power. I don't know if you remember that, like back when the NES came out and you didn't know where to go and you had this magazine. That's how I see the red pill. I still use it. I also kind of use it as a pun where it's like, oh yeah, one of those red pill guys, forklift certified red pill guy. I take the piss out of it. But does it ever get exhausting explaining it? Depending on if the person that's in front of you actually wants to know what it is and is genuinely curious, I kind of like it, in all honesty. So when somebody comes up to me like, aren't you red pill guys like Andrew Tate? It's like, not really. Not really. Like, yes, that has been labeled as red pill, same as manosphere, which is actually how the term manosphere came to be. The term manosphere was invented by Mother Jones, some mommy blogger back in the day, who didn't agree with, I don't know who she disagreed with, but a male blogger. Thus, she coined the term manosphere so that she can lump in every male blogger under the umbrella of the term manosphere. So any white supremacist who happened to be a man could then be judged by some guy telling you like, hey, maybe you want to get a haircut, take a bath, and learn some game to get women. Because of that term, everybody now got judged by the worst common denominator. But then when somebody asks like, oh, isn't red pill like Andrew Tate? It's like, well, not really. They categorized him in there. I'm not saying Andrew Tate is good or bad. I think he's hilarious, by the way. And I think he does have some good advice. Though with the slander he gets from the media, the guys who are not getting slander right away also look bad. And also, the red pill isn't like get a Bugatti and get laid. It's more like, hey, you've been married for XYZ years. Your wife doesn't want to sleep with you anymore. How do you get her to sleep with you again? Or, and that's the beautiful part because it's kind of a bait and switch, where guys come in wanting to get their ex back, wanting to get their wife to sleep with them, or wanting to get that one girl they've been pining over. And the more they read and the more they apply the tools that we're talking about, they find out like, oh, I might not even want this girl I'm pining over. Why would I want my wife to sleep with me again while I'm getting way better attention with my homies at the bar? So it's you come from the women and you leave with self-actualization. That to me will always be the red pill. Rule 0 for the improvement and furtherment of the male sexual strategy, male sexual power.
I know my answer to this, but I'm curious on yours, and I think this is just good for the audience to hear this. Why do you think, or in your opinion, why are women so against this idea? Because if that's what we're doing, right? If we're, and I know it's funny, it's if what we're doing is teaching men to be better and to get better results and become more attracted to women, and if men and women are better together than they are apart, which I guess some people probably are disputing now, why would this ever be viewed as a negative thing? Like, why are women so against this masculine self-improvement in trying to gain an edge and trying to actually learn the truth about women in relationships and attraction versus keeping them in the dark?
There's two things. Number one, women hate it when men get together without them. That's the biggest one where it's like, all these men are getting together. What are they doing there? It's like, I want to be a part of it. Like, it's the gamer girl phenomenon. Even the red pill has groups.
Or now the fitness girl or whatever male subculture has now been influenced. Yeah, I know powerlifting too. Like I know you're in that. We both used to be in that space. Like it's everywhere, right? Yeah.
Man, I can't wait till we have segregated gyms again. Because I used to work at a gym and there were so many girls who had had their cleavage down to their belly button. And it's like, men are staring at me. I want you to do something about it. It's like, how about I'm not going to do something about it? And how about you wear a shirt? Now, of course, I wasn't allowed to say that because
Of course.
management were women as well. I was like, believe me, there's an in-group preference there you don't want to go against. But there were also so many older men who were made uncomfortable by it. Like some older dude who just want to sit on the home trainer, cycle a little bit, and be done. But since we're men and we're visual, we can't help it to look at a hot chick who walks around in a bikini in the gym. We can't. We physically can't. They've done tests on this, which is hilarious. There was this one dude who wanted to prove he could do it. And then he was filming himself as he was behind his laptop, and he would scroll through photos. And as soon as a chick with a bikini came up, he was like, okay, I need to stare at her face. But automatically his eyes went to her cleavage. Like, shit, we can't do it. We have to watch. So that's number one. They just want to invade male spaces. Number two is that in our current day society, the only approved masculinity is feminine approved masculinity. As long as it's approved by women, it's good to have. Scott, what's his name? Some bald guy with glasses. Scott
Adams.
Something. No, not Adams. No, Adams was.
I know you're talking about the other guy. Yeah, I know you're talking about though.
Yeah, he wrote a book.
The name escapes me too, but yeah, he's everywhere.
Yeah, he did a book on masculinity too, and he was with Oprah, and I did a response video to it. And Oprah, I was wondering why Oprah was sitting there, but during the duration of that interview, it became very clear she was there for oversight. Don't you dare step out of line. Don't you dare say anything that isn't flattering to women, because the whole thing turned out to be the promise keeper thing where, oh, I just want to be a better man than my father was to my mother. It's like, okay, there you go. So you're still in your mother's frame is what it came down to. So it's something they can't control, which they would like to control. And it is unflattering truth to women. Little bit of Twitter drama, which is completely irrelevant to the overall topic. But right now, some Twitter e-girl who was promoting marriage, all the thing, like, I'm a virgin till marriage, blah, 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 turned out to be cheating on her fiance with Alan Schaefer, or what's his name?
Elijah. Yeah. I've just seen that stuff coming out. Yeah.
Yeah. Wild, where it's like, man. See, Red Pill got it right again. You know, we knew that was going to happen where it's like, if the woman lets you wait for sex, the sex is never worth the wait. Cue Rolo. Thanks for that one. But we knew this, like Red Pill got vindicated again. We knew it. And women don't like that we know it, because the more men know this, the less men are going to wait for it. Unfortunately, not every man is going to experience the woman that's going to rip his clothes off right on the first date. But if he starts applying some of these uncomfortable truths and some of the tools and apply a little game, chances are he is going to get there. But women don't like that because they feel cheated out on it, where it's like, no, our sexual strategy is to fool you guys. It's like, not anymore.
That's to me one of the things too. Like, that's kind of my answer, where I think it's about the same reason that women have a problem with PUA and game is because it's not natural. Like, you're just supposed to get it. You're just supposed to be a guy who knows this stuff naturally, and almost none of us do. And it's like, that's why it's so funny when guys make fun of people like us. We're like, oh yeah, you guys got divorced, or you got dumped, or like you got single mom drama, and now you had, it's like, well, yeah. And then we went and fixed the problem. We fixed the issue. We wouldn't be here having success if we hadn't had the issue first. But this idea that it's like, women, I think, they're so afraid of potentially saddling themselves with a beta long-term, or a guy that really doesn't get it, that it's almost they are so afraid that it's performative, or that it's not an actual long-lasting change, that she's just having the wool pull over her eyes, and this guy's actually a loser. He's just doing some things that he read out of a book.
Absolutely. I had it once where I got 2 Tinder matches, and one of them I got the number, and I was almost setting a date. But it turned out that those 2 matches knew each other. And funnily, this wasn't even on purpose. It's always fun. Yeah, but this wasn't even on purpose. I opened them with the same opener because they both had something about photography. And apparently, the girl I was setting up the date with texted her friend like, oh my God, I met this great guy. And she was like, wait, is this him? And she got livid because I used the same opener. Like, do you think I'm stupid and this and that? And I'm like, I didn't reply this, by the way, but I was thinking to
Of
myself,
course.
like, no, I don't think you're stupid, but I think that you think you're stupid because you now know you fell for
You
it.
fell for it.
You fell for it, and that's the part that you don't like. I
Right.
can't help it worked. Like, it was pure coincidence that it was the same opener. They both had something with photography, but they hate being felt, or they hate being made felt unspecial.
They
It's
wanna
like
be
when
special. Yeah.
yeah, they want to be special. They want to be unique. That's why every time you say like, "Oh, on average, women are 5'8," and she's like, "But I'm 5'6." A lot of guys, and I see this on panel shows a lot too, they take that seriously and they start arguing with her. I don't even argue with women anymore. I just
Yeah.
flirt the hell out of them. And I don't care if I come across as a simp or whatever, because it beats arguing with them. I
Sure.
just go, yeah, okay, not you. You're not like the other women. You're 5'6", like you're great, you're special. But I mean the other ones. And she goes like, oh yeah, now I get it. It's like,
Yeah, them. Yeah, them. Not me, them. And then they're cool with
yeah,
that. They're happy. They're like, oh, okay. As long as you recognize that I'm the special one of the group, then we're all good.
exactly. And
Yeah,
like I've
that's great.
leaned into it. A lot of guys go like, "Oh, these dumb bitches need to know." It's like, no, they don't. They don't. They really don't need to know the truth. You're not going to tell them the truth because they're not going to listen to you. Something I wish guys would learn is that women do not care about the opinion of a man they're not sleeping with,
That's true. That's
because
extremely
they
true.
don't. They
'Cause they don't.
seriously don't. So
Yeah.
just give up on it on trying to convince them or what.
The whole holding women accountable thing. Like, that's the thing we've never tried to do with our show. That's like, somebody's got to hold these. It's like, no, it's never going to work. It's not going to be you. They're not going to listen to you. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have or it doesn't matter. Like, she's not invested in you or your opinion in her, because she's not invested in you. So she doesn't care that you're invested in her. She really doesn't care what you have to say. Like, you're just a guy.
Yep.
You're just somebody that she doesn't listen to. I mean, I haven't fully fleshed this out, and like, I'm sure that there's a better way to put it, but I've always called it like the killing Batman theory. Like, women want to kill Batman. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure you've played these games before, like the old Batman games that used to come out, like Arkham Asylum and like that series. Like, so if you remember, you'd be like swinging through buildings and stuff like that, and then you would eavesdrop on conversations of like the thugs, like the hired guns, like these just faceless, just big brute guys that Batman's never lost to any of these guys. He's kicked like 10,000 of these guys' asses. But every single one of them thinks they're going to be the guy. Like, not a single one of these guys is like, yeah, I mean, he's never lost a fight before. He's probably going to beat the shit out of me, but no, I'm going to be the guy. If I see Batman, I'm going to take his head off. And so that's what it is like for women. I think they want to be the one that's going to take down Batman. He is just mowed through all of these women, and he's this untamed sort of wild horse, and she's going to be the one to, break him and control him. But what she doesn't realize is that you kill Batman, then there's no more Batman. Right? When you do that, he's no longer Batman. When you say, "Hey, can you not go out and fight crime tonight because, I want to watch a movie and get popcorn," and he goes, "Okay." Now it's like, well, when are you do that enough times, it's like, you know what? You used to be Batman. Like, you used to go out and fight crime and kick a bunch of ass, and now you've gotten fat and lazy. Like, what happened to you? And he goes, "I'm just doing what you told me to do. What the fuck?" And I think a lot of guys fall into that trap, like so many of them.
That's the Beauty and the Beast phenomenon. Women don't want the prince. They want the beast, but they want to be able to tame the beast. It's a story as old as time. And what guys have forgotten is to tell their woman no. The most beautiful word you can ever tell a woman is the word no. It really is. So you're right. Like, your version will be killing Batman, which I actually like a lot. But it comes back to the whole Beauty and the Beast thing, where it's like she wants to tame the beast. And as soon as you turn into the prince, she's going to be bored. She's going to be absolutely bored with it. It's one of the few advices from Peterson I really liked, but it's also his most unapplied advice, is be a monster. I know so many guys who are like huge fans of Peterson. And it's like, okay, do you do martial arts? No, that's violence. It's like, oh,
Right.
it's like the one thing, the one thing he was very clear in: be a monster. And they don't do that. They clean their room. They pet cats when they walk down the streets, all that. But be a monster? No, we can't do that. Like, that's the one thing you want. I'm not saying be violent, absolutely not, but be capable of violence. And that part is the attractive part. Your girl, whatever, doesn't want you to go randomly kick somebody's ass in the street, but she is attractive to the fact that you could do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's the one allowed to walk next to you.
Why do you think guys have such an aversion to things like that? And I totally agree with you. Obviously, like I started getting back into I trained on and off martial arts for the last, I mean, almost 15 years at this point, with big long breaks in between. Got started when I was 18, kind of skipped like all throughout my early 20s, mid 20s, kind of bounced around. But I've gone really, really solid the last 2 years or so, where I'm training, pretty much every single day. And now I'm getting ready to drop like a full length vlog where I took 12 or 13 guys of my community and brought them down here to Tampa, and we did like a whole week-long simulated fight camp with multiple training sessions. We did a bunch of conditioning, taught lessons with my coach, and hosted them at the gym, and had all our meals prepped out by a local chef buddy of mine, and we're going to do it again in March. So that'll be out probably early next week. But there's so many things that guys just refuse to do. And I think what I've noticed in talking to more and more and more men, the sour grapes is through the roof. This I won't do it because I'll turn into a brute, and women don't want a guy that's just going around beating the shit out of people. It's like, yeah, no, duh. Like that's not what we're talking about, right? So it's like, my thing is the disconnect. I'm not sure where it is, because clearly these guys are not getting the results that they want. The guys that argue with this kind of stuff are the guys that are the fat, the lazy ones. They're not getting attention from women. They're seeing the bartender or the homeless guy running a harem of women out of his car who doesn't shower and has teeth missing. And they're like, why can't I love women. I prop them up. I comment on their social media pictures. I tell them how amazing they are. Why am I not, it's not working for me. But they're not having that epiphany moment. The light bulb is still not coming on. And it's just, what has to happen for that to click, where these guys finally go, all right, it's time to make a change?
Being zeroed out like hell. A friend of mine, Kyle Matovic, he said, look, I don't wish harm upon anybody, but some guys, I just wish their girlfriend got fucked by their best friend.
Yeah.
That would solve a lot of issues. It's going to hurt, but it's going to shake them up.
Yeah.
And I think that's just it, where you have got men raised as defective women, where the only masculinity allowed is female-approved masculinity. They apply that, and they put women on a pedestal. I haven't said that in ages. Wow, putting women on a pedestal. They do that, and I have a friend, unfortunately, like that, who ended up with this girl for a couple of months that he didn't even like that much, but in his words, at least it's a warm body. It's like, dude, really?
Yeah.
But
that's tough, man.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but he didn't want to listen, where it's like, okay, sure. Like every now and then I dropped some nuggets, and even like there's this girl I'm dating now as well. And I even gave a couple of examples of us where it's like, yeah, no, she wanted to commit, but I was like, well, you are free to join me in what I am doing, but I'm going to do what I want to do. And he's like, well, why would you do that? Because like a woman makes you whole and this and that. I'm like, no, she doesn't. Like I make myself a whole human being. And then she, in her completeness, or however you want to call it, spiritual, woo-woo, magical, can join me. But I am not dependent in my personality on her. My happiness does not depend on her. I am happy without her. And then she can join in that happiness, but not her being needed for me to be happy. And he didn't understand that. It's like, yeah, but men and women complete each other. I'm like, no, they don't.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And I said it a bit differently. I said it a bit more nuanced, because like when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't know,
gotta soften it. Yeah.
You have to. You absolutely have to. And you have to ask them questions like, okay, but how would you see that? And what do you do when she leaves? Like, then are you going to be unhappy again? Well, that's not completely what I mean, but, and then slowly but surely you see it click a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully. You mentioned you were in Tampa, by the way. Do you know Joe D?
We've chatted back and forth a little bit. We've never met, but we've had some back and forth. I know he's down here, and he does some of the like photography and the photo shoots and stuff like that. But yeah, we've had some messages back and forth, not in a long time, but yeah, I know of him.
Now, yeah, with Maven Mansion.
Yeah, yeah.
That is a place I like. I hopefully one day I can do a states tour and like meet all my friends. And Maven Mansion is it's absolutely a place I want to visit. I've gone
Oh
back
yeah,
and forth with Joe a couple of times. He's a great dude. Looks
cool.
amazing for his age.
Yeah, he really
What the
does.
hell?
He really does.
Holy
Take care of
shit!
himself big time.
All
Yeah.
these red pill dudes look great for their age. Where it's like,
Funny how that works. Who would have thought?
I know,
Right? Like,
I know, right?
maybe these guys are onto something. Who knows? Maybe
I
these
know.
guys are
Skincare
completely full of
routine.
shit.
Yeah, well, that was a thing 2 years ago with this red pill stuff. Although that wasn't like specifically red pill, was more self-development in general. Was a coworker of mine, and he was like a starch communist. Like, and not to get into politics, I'm getting somewhere with this. And he was like a huge fan of Vouch and Destiny and all the bread tubers. A little bit of internet lore, like so bread tubers are mostly political commentators on YouTube who view everything through the lens of communism. And of course, people with money are the blame for everything. And he's like, well, can I show you a video of Vouch? I'm like, no, thank you. He's like, why not? Why don't you care about my opinion? I'm like, because I don't want to look like him. Why do I want to listen to somebody who looks like they're miserable? Oh, you're so shallow. I'm like, yes, but so far, what I've been doing works for me.
It's working.
Yeah. So why would I want to listen to somebody who physically repulses me? Because clearly everything he's doing is not getting him to where I would want to be.
Yeah, that's major.
So,
I mean, it's huge. I've been talking a lot in recent weeks about the halo effect and about how, just how you look before you even speak or talk or extend your hand to shake somebody else's, they're starting to make up their mind about you. It's like, if people can, people are really great at formulating all of your thoughts, your entire life story, what you've been through, who you've dated, how many women you've been with, if you have mommy issues, by like a podcast like that, or like a 30-second TikTok that you'll make. They'll just say, oh, you said XYZ, so therefore all of these things. And because we're naturally lazier thinkers, we just want to extrapolate as much as we can because it takes work and time and effort to get to know somebody and uses a lot of brain power. So we take shortcuts. And a lot of that is, first step is your physique. And it's not just for women, it's for men too. It's what people first see when they look at you, and your authority just goes through the roof when you're somebody that has proven they take care of themselves and they do the right things.
yeah.
So yeah,
my hair is a bit of an issue with that. My hair is a little bit. I have this weird in between curly, stylish, thick hair where there's like a mess to get right. So I just decided to own it. Where it's like,
you're in that like no man's land. It's like you either have to cut it short now or you just have to let it go. You're like in that weird period. So
I know it's horrible. Great. It's horrible. I mean, I had it long last year again till
shoulder length.
Here, somewhere like that. And like I said, I like the look, I really do, but it takes a lot of work because, like you said. Yeah. That, like you said, people will judge you.
Totally.
Whether we like it or not, people will judge you. So I can think it looks cool and shit like that, but you can bet your ass that my options in the dating market severely go down. Very well aware of that. And yeah, you can own it to a degree, but how do you phrase that? The probability of you ending up with sorority girl or whatever, that's not likely.
Because you got to get on the playing field at least. Like, that's why it's like, oh, guys with money or funny guys always end up playing. Yeah, but it's like, if you're over, like you have to be able to get on the playing field to even be able to demonstrate any of those sort of auxiliary qualities or those additional things. It's like you're not even getting the opportunity to show that you have a personality or humor, or that you're owning that if she won't even look at you, if she's looking right through you, if you're invisible. I'm not saying this obviously applies to you, but certain guys that are unkempt don't take care of themselves and all that kind of thing. So it's paramount and it's important, but guys will fight to the death. It's like guys would almost rather, me and my co-host were TC were talking about this last night on our Navigating Modern Dating show. It's like the order of guys usually will prioritize one of three things, or they'll prioritize money, then maybe like their body, then maybe charisma, which is completely backwards. It's like, I think it's body, charisma, money. Building a bank account and building big income takes way longer and way more work than taking 6 months and just getting in shape and going out and like talking to people and upping your charisma and your confidence. You could really change who you are in that realm in a few short months, 6 months, 6 months, whatever it might be. Doubling your salary or starting a successful business could take years, if not decades. But guys seem to have this idea of it's only money. And you and I both know at this point that money, I made a video about this morning, a short one, but money is never an attraction trigger. Like money is always seen, or providing is always the beta side or the comfort side of that coin. And so it's interesting that guys choose to focus on that so much, especially when it's not what eventually gets women attracted to them and doesn't get them laid.
Money is an amplifier, and money grants opportunities. Weirdly enough, women always find themselves in these like high wealthy surroundings. They just do. I mean, women are men become kind of thing, and women are there for their beauty. But just because you are there doesn't mean you have to spend it on them, which is why gold diggers are made, not born. The biggest mistake guys make is focus too much on money, and well, you catch what you fish with. If all you have is money, then that's all they're gonna take, kind of thing. When it comes to like money, game, and looks, I would even say I think you're right on looks might be the first one you kind of want to focus on because that's the easiest one out of all of them. It's like, yeah, you can
highest
go,
ROI and highest, like you can be as efficient with that. Like that will get you
yeah,
the best I think I think efficiency's sake. I think you'll get the best results for the amount of work that you put in, or the amount of time you'll spend.
Well, and also your charisma and everything comes with self-respect. But how can you have self-respect if you've never put in work? It's like
Right.
you have in the background, do the work. Where it's like, what is the work? Well, the work is what you do every day to improve yourself. And if you've never done that, then why would you even think highly of yourself? So in that sense, I absolutely agree with you with the do the looks first part. And you don't have to be like this 6'5" alpha chap with a jawline you can
Right.
sharp diamonds on, but at least be attractive in general. Don't have a beer gut. Don't have that weird peach fluff on your face kind of thing. At least try to do your hair a bit. Sleep well. A friend of mine who I met here in Batumi, he's a bartender, and we hung out yesterday. And funnily enough, he brought up like Red Pill and Andrew Tate as well. And we got into the same like, but is Andrew Tate really Red Pill? And I kind of defended it, or it's like, well, I don't think he is because like you have the tools and everything. And then all of a sudden he was like, yeah, no, now that you mention it, back in college, we did the same thing. Like we just had a group of dudes and all of a sudden we started talking about women. I'm like, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, as soon as you get guys together, they'll end up talking about women. We just do. And he was like, you know what? I wouldn't even say go to the gym first. I'm like, really? Like that kind of piqued my interest. I'm like, okay, why is that? He's like, do you know how many guys actually get proper sleep, drink enough water, and eat healthy? I'm like, fair point. Very fair point. He's like, you could go to the gym, but if your diet's shit, you don't drink enough water, and you sleep terribly, nothing's going to work. I'm like, yeah, I never looked at it like that. Never looked at it like that. So, yeah, no, 100% agree with you on that one.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because to me, I guess to me that all falls under the same umbrella. Like I don't think I would ever tell a guy just go to the gym and then but I see what he's saying. It's like you have to do all of these things, but it's not so you have to kind of break it down in a way that is encompassing but not overwhelming. Because I have chats with my guys all the time and they're like, all right, I'm trying to lose this amount of weight and I want to make sure I'm doing refeed days so my metabolism spikes. I'm like, dude, you got 60 pounds to lose. Just unfatten yourself and don't worry about all this other bullshit. It's like, because none of that's sexy, right? Like eating in a deficit, lifting heavy, getting your hydration and sleeping well, none of that's sexy. None of that sells. But protein timing and refeed windows and metabolism spikes and starvation mode, all of this stuff is like, and guys just, it's like you're focusing on what the top level bodybuilders in the world do to get that last 2-3% of like muscle mass and definition. it's not applicable to 99.9% of the population.
It absolutely isn't. No, I have that. I've had that with my clients where, oh, what kind of supplements do I need? It's like, do I know your blood work? And they look
Yeah.
at me like, but you're a personal trainer, right? I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm not a doctor and I don't know your blood work. And they worried about like carb loading and things like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you an athlete? No. I'm
Right.
like, you're a novice. I'm very open about this. I love focusing on the basics,
Yeah.
especially with lifting, because so many guys have so much trouble with just the simplicity of it. It really isn't that hard. Try to get 10,000 steps in a day, which is harder than you think.
It
I
is.
haven't done it for a while. I'm doing it again. And like, I think I've been walking for hours and I check my steps and it's like 7,000. It's like, fuck, still 3,000 more to go. Damn it. But get your protein in, not even via supplements. Most of the time, you don't need a protein shake.
Right.
You just need whole foods. And get a very simple, easy to follow training program. Strong lifts 5x5. Just if you're able to start with that and you're able to keep doing that for at least 6 months, you're golden. And then try to do it a year and go from there. And then after all of that is said and done and you've created a new habit, maybe then you can look at into like meal timing or protein timing, whatever they call it. Not that it's important. It actually really isn't, as long as you can get the calories and the protein in. But yeah, guys, I don't know. It's because it doesn't sound right. I think that's it. Where it's like, no, it can't be this easy. Where it's like, if you want to be wealthy, you know what you do? You dollar cost average into the S&P 500 for I don't know how many years, and you do it consistent. No, that can't be right. It's like, well, I'm sorry, it is.
Yeah.
It really is that boring. Same as lifting. You want to get a six pack? Every other day, go to the gym, do your compound exercises, take note of your progress, eat whole foods, protein, heavy protein diet, and walk, not run, walk at least, or I'd say at least 5, because 10 is like pretty high hurdle for most people, and especially when they're sedentary. It's like, do at least 5K a day. Go from there. But it sounds too easy. I guys want the complicated thing, because I think it's somewhere, maybe it's self-blame or something, where it's like, oh, if it's that easy, why haven't I started doing it? Well, because you didn't know, and that's okay. Like, especially guys who like, actually, we can use the term now, who unplug, so to say. They blame themselves so much, where it's like, oh, how didn't I know how to do this with women? And, oh, I could have saved my relationship if I only did X, Y, and Z. Where it's like, well, you didn't know that because of all sorts of reasons. I never understood why they never taught me about calorie restriction in high school or even in middle school.
Or anything. Yeah.
But
or any of the stuff that we learn now that we, or that's out there and widely available as far as what works. But you know what? There's that argument that it's like, well, they should teach this in schools, but it's like, well, you're not going to retain it anyway. Like, you don't retain this stuff. Like, are you really going to retain it either way? It's just, it's not I don't know if it's I don't think the curriculum is the problem. It's the way that they impart information. And it's just not conducive to actual learning. It's memorization. But I want to go back to this because I think you kind of are onto something. I have a little more cynical view of human behavior, where I think if a guy can convince himself that something's really complicated, it gives him a way out and it makes it a lot easier to quit. It's a lot easier. And I think that maybe is kind of like not always, but it can be a predictive indicator that this guy is going to bail out. If he's already saying like, all right, I've got to do this. I got to make sure I'm hitting all this. I got to make sure I'm doing all that. This dude's clearly very jacked up. And he's just starting this process, right? He's got his new shoes. He's got his workout gear. He's getting his supplements. He's getting his hydration plan. He's doing all this stuff. And I think or when he's having a lot of questions or he's just getting really lost in the minutia, I think that's more maybe an indicator of somebody that's like, yeah, this guy is going to he's going to hit the wall after a couple of weeks. And it's going to be so overwhelming because he's chosen to complicate it so much that it's easier to walk away and it's easier to justify. He was like, man, I wish getting in shape was just simple and easy. It's not, you have to be obsessed, right? You have to, I'm not going to be one of these guys that just lives in the gym or that spends all his free time like counting calories and macros. And so they demonize it, even though they're the ones that created this sort of imaginary scenario of how overly complex getting into shape and eating well and all that stuff really is. I think it's like, if I don't hear from a guy, he's like, yeah, I'm just doing my shit. I'm hitting my targets, hitting my steps, hitting my lifts, hitting my diet. I'm like, cool. That guy doesn't need any help. But a guy's like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? I'm like, you're almost looking for an excuse to quit because you're making this more complicated. I think one of the things that I love about, I haven't fully read the book. So James Clear, if you ever see this podcast, I apologize. But one of the things about habits and creating good habits and getting away from bad habits, the simplest way I can put it is, if you want to create good habits, you remove obstacles out of your way that allow you to go down that path. If you want to get rid of bad habits, you place obstacles in your way that keep you from going down that path of bad habits. And so making this thing overly confusing and having to put all of these hurdles, I think it's actually blocking you and restricting you from where you want to go, because it's just too much to do, too much to think about, and you just eventually get overwhelmed and you quit.
Fair point. Very fair point. Well, now that you mention it, the guys who really want it, they shut up and they do it. They tell me what to do, coach, and I'll do it. And then you have, indeed, the guys who, I wouldn't say they don't want it, because I do think they do. But there's also this maybe it's fear or something, fear of change.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I've had one client once, and he, like, this is not like me bragging or whatever, but he paid me up the wazoo, and he still didn't follow my advice. I'm like, what?
I see that a lot. Yeah.
Why are you paying me? And it turned out he just wanted to tell people he had a personal trainer. And he'd fight me on everything. He would fight me on everything, to the point where it's like, well, what am I paying you for? I'm like, well, clearly to go against me. Clearly to give me a verbal beating, because I've already given you the advice you actually need. You've applied none of it. So what do you want? And then all of a sudden he got the hint where it's like, oh yeah. No, maybe you're right. I'm like, maybe I'm right.
Maybe.
No,
Yeah.
but
go ahead. Yeah.
No, you make a very good point. But then I get to the question, then why even come to you in the first place? And that's what makes me think, like, no, you do want it, but there's also cognitive dissonance.
Totally.
You got to remember that too. Like, you guys, you're not Canadian, you're American, right? Or are you Canadian? Yeah. Okay. American. So you guys had Bobby Kennedy, who only like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, flipped the food pyramid.
Yeah.
If still in Europe, if you tell people like, hey, have a meat-based diet, they would want to put you in an insane asylum. Everything we tell people goes against everything they've been taught. And I mean everything. I was like, wait, cut the carbs? But every nutritious meal is based on like grains and things like that. It's like, well, actually, no, you don't need so many of those, especially if you sit down most of the time. Yeah, but the professionals and the experts, there you go. The experts always told me X, Y, and Z. We had a Dutch program, was like one of these like The View kind of things, but with men. It's like, ugh. And there was one dude who I'm going to get a 6-pack. And there was a 6-week project where it's like, first of all, 6 weeks, really?
Yeah, right.
To get good abs. And they made that whole journey look like everything in the gym is about supplements, steroids, heavy lifting, hours and hours of gym sessions. And so after that 6 weeks, like, he got a little bit buff, but not really. And that whole show was nothing but demonizing the gym. Now, luckily in the United States, people are distrusting the media more and more. But in Europe, they still like follow it to a T. So then when people do get a personal trainer and the personal trainer goes against everything the quote unquote experts have been saying, yeah, you're going to get pushback a lot.
Yeah. Well, I
So
mean, but the question there is to fire back with, it's like, okay, but is what you're doing right now working?
exactly.
Why are you getting the results? Well, they may have said XYZ, but is that working? And it's just interesting because, I did a presentation on, and this is something I'm going to continue to refine, and I maybe want to turn it into like a road show at some point, but like 12 lessons for my future son, kind of one of these things. And one of them is, and this is a tough one to really distill, but one of them is, do what works, not what's necessarily works for you. Cause that's, you hear it, like most of that works for you stuff is really cope. Like it either works or it doesn't, but it works for me. It's like, yeah, but clearly are you in the shape that you want to be in? Like, are you healthy? Are you strong? Are you in, and it'll be something innocuous. I'll be like, hey man, you probably shouldn't squat in running shoes in the gym. It's like, yeah, but it works for me. It's like, no, it doesn't. What do you mean? Like, it's legitimately hampering you. Or it's like, if I want to warm up for I'll do a lot of dynamic stretching before a lot of heavy lifting. Like that's probably not a good idea. Like you're going to tire yourself out. It's not going to be great. Like, why are you doing box jumps if you're going to squat today? Well, I don't know. It works. And basically what they're telling me is this is comfortable and I don't want to change. I am comfortable with this. I like it because it's familiar and it's a routine and I don't want to deviate from that. And I think it maybe even goes even to our very base impulse of people would rather keep what they have than risk losing that over getting something better. It's like you live in a shit box, at least it's not a cardboard box. So why risk trying to do better? Because maybe you'll be in a cardboard box if you fail. So this is good enough. And I think also what's really tough, and maybe people know this consciously or subconsciously, I don't know, starting something is always the hardest.
Yes.
Moving a boulder that has no momentum and getting it started from zero is always the hardest. But that also means like the worst you're ever going to be is on day one. You're always going to be getting better after that. Like all you've got to do is really stick with it and try your best and not half-ass it. Obviously, you've got to put concerted effort into things, but everything is the hardest at the very start. And it's the worst you're ever going to be. But I think people just want to be good at stuff and they don't want to risk I think the shame is part of it. They don't want to risk the rejection. And in reality, like, and you've been around gyms a long, like we're not looking at you guys. We don't care. Like the fact that you're in there, nobody is looking at an overweight guy or even girl in the gym and going like, they're like, okay, cool. At least you're here getting after, you're doing something, you're taking an active role. It would be a lot different if you could say, hey, you're not going to hit a wall until 3 months in, but you're going to have built a nice solid base that's going to help you push through that. You got to tell people like you're going to hit a wall on day one and then again on day two. You're going to be hitting the wall every day forever because that's the only way you're going to get better is to push past that. And it's just, I think a lot of people are so uncomfortable with being uncomfortable that they just will never kind of take that jump and leap, which, for guys that are willing to do that, we're not exactly sad about it. We're like, okay, if that's what you want to do, it's like, hey man, if you want to sit around all day, like more for me. Right.
You brought up an interesting point where it's like with red pill, what we mentioned in the beginning with the term red pill, what you see a lot of now is guys wearing red pill as a skin suit. And what I mean by that is like, you've got the basic principles of self-development. They take that, they can then get labeled red pill. But then they go to the concept we like to call bucket on your head, and which can also be translated to be like me, it worked for me. And that's where you get like the high rollers where it's like, oh, just be rich, man. Just have a supercar, man. Just do looks maxing, man. Where it's like, be like me, it worked for me. Where it's like, and that's where it separates itself from the red pill. Because the red pill is on an individual basis. And it's like, yeah, we have this entire toolbox. And some of them might apply and some of them don't. And that's where that confliction came from. And with the guys in the gym, I mean, I've tried with some of them, man. I've tried with some of them where they were like, God, what were they doing? Name something. the dynamic stretching where it's like, hey, you do realize that if you're going to do resistance training with weights, the best way to warm up is to do the same movement you're about to do, but with lower weight, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's that simple. Do some body weight squats, but squats with the empty bar, and then go from there. Oh
Sure.
no, but I like this. I am tired out with squatting though. Where it's like, yeah, no figures. Oh, I need to do 10 minutes on the home trainer first. It's like,
Yeah.
you really don't. But again, that's what they've been taught as well. I remember like back in the day, most fitness trainers didn't even know what they were talking about. And as soon as they got a new client, they brought them to the home trainer and they brought them to the shoulder press machine and then the lat pull down machine and then the leg extension. But there was no talk about progressive overload. There was no talk about time under tension. Like, absolutely, like sets, reps. What does that mean? You know,
It's
like
like, how does this
no,
feel? Is this hard? Okay, cool. Like, do some more. All right. Like, oh,
yeah.
you feel the burn? Cool. All right, on to the next thing.
Yeah, and then the very next week they're on their own, and then they
Mhm.
stay for weeks on end on the same weight. It's like, yeah, of course you're not progressing, but then they got sleeping members, of course, because these people are never going to go back. But they've got a year contract, and that's how most gyms make their money, unfortunately.
I think you bring up a really interesting point, and Jack Donovan did a good article on this a couple of weeks ago, who I've met now, who's a friend of mine. Went out and met him in Arizona a couple of weeks ago, shot some guns, and hopefully we'll do something together in the future. And I've always really liked his work. In the Brotherhood, my group are going through the Way of Men right now. I've read the book like 10 times, but he did
It's a
he did an
great
article
book.
on, yeah, it's fantastic. He did an article on giving advice, and it's like, what's the one piece of advice you would give men? It's like, I couldn't possibly give one piece of advice because I think maybe this is also something that I probably fell victim to this too. You know, when you think about some of my guys and we call it like Mount Stupid, which is you're at the top of the curve of, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. Guys come into this space, they read the Rational Male, they watch some podcasts, and now they grab a microphone and they're an expert at everything. And they start just blasting out these like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that. If your wife disrespects you, divorce her, kick her out, change the locks. And you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so that's something that is, something that that guys have to kind of learn, where yeah, there's different advice that can be applied to different guys that are all through different walks of life. And that's also, part of it, but the principles largely remain the same, but tailored individual advice is something that, has to be taken on a case by case basis.
And a lot of guys, even in this space, even a lot of podcasters, they miss a lot of the practical advice
Mm-hmm.
where like the sidebar on the Reddit, there's more than the Rational Male and like old red pill blogs. There's When I Say No, I Feel Guilty by Manuel L. Smith. Manuel L. Smith, sorry. When I Say No, I Feel Guilty. Great book about assertiveness training, about mental models. And of course, No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, that's up there big time.
Yeah, especially No More Mr. Nice Guy. But I think it's a shame that When I Say No, I Feel Guilty doesn't get the love it deserves, because that one for me made a lot of behavioral ticks click. Like, be attractive, don't be unattractive. The don't be unattractive part is the hardest part of self-actualization, because that is that approval seeking behavior. That is that continuously wanting to be right, where it's like, that's why you keep arguing with women. And the tools in that book really helped me with everything, because I've been in they're coming to get us. That's on your end?
Oh,
The
that's
siren?
yeah, that's outside. Yeah.
Yeah,
On
they're
their
coming
way.
to get us.
Shut these guys down. Yeah.
FBI, open up. Red Pill Podcast. Get them. No, but like fogging, where you acknowledge somebody, but you don't agree with them. Like that example at the beginning with women, where it's like, oh, but I'm 5'8". Of course you are. Sure.
Right.
I understand why you say that. And like, or when she's angry at you, because most of the time women aren't actually angry at you. They're just angry. And then you are the first thing in their perimeter. You're such an asshole and blah, blah, blah. Is there, and then what was it again? Like, you have a negative assertion where it's like, yeah, I can be kind of a dick. You're right. It's like, is there anything else that makes you feel like that? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, I can see where you say that. Like, I'm not saying she's right.
Right.
Maybe every now and then where it's like, yeah, I could be a bit of a dick, a bit. You're the most horrible man I've ever met. It's like, well, I can be bad. I wouldn't say I'm the most horrible, but Yet there's still so many guys who go against it. Where it's like, how dare you? And blah blah. It's like, no, man, it's a girl. It doesn't matter how old she is. 30, 25, 45. It's still a girl. She still can't put you through the drywall. She's not going to attack you. She's 100 pounds soaking wet. What do you think she's going to do other than yell? And here you are getting yourself like riled up because she's yelling at you. And when you view women through that lens, everything just gets so much easier. Like,
Yeah.
I can, like, my girl can be angry at me and I can just sit there like, sure. Yeah. Whatever. And sometimes I just walk away, but it's like, where are you going? Away? What are you going to do about it?
Leaving.
And then,
yeah.
and then like that, it's like, oh, I didn't mean it. I was like, I know you didn't. But sometimes you have to kind of strike the fear of God into him where it's like, oh shit, if I push it too far, he actually leaves. Like attention, affection, commitment. That's all you have. Like, it's all the tools you have against like arguing with your woman.
Yeah.
You either leave or you stop giving her affection. And in the worst case, you stop giving her commitment. But 9 times out of 10, like you mentioned, like, oh, your wife's a bitch, divorce her. Where it's like, yeah, you know what? Go fight over custody, pay the divorce lawyers and everything just because she's being a brat.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to divorce over? Where it's like, get the hell out of here, man. Get the hell out. And that's how you know, that's the difference between like switched on guys and non-switched on guys. They still think you need to fight with her. It's like, yeah, don't get it.
It's like when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? Like it's
bingo.
That. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, exactly. Put the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Unintended.
This is I'm guessing you're asking about the way of men. I don't know if it'd be something that would help you understand men better. This is really about putting a finger on masculinity and what it means to be a man. I think it's an interesting read no matter what, but it's not something that I would give a woman for like practical advice and like, here's how you make men happy and here's how you can understand them from a male POV. So, you can be more useful in things like that. It has more to do with our natural biological imperatives and like what drives our behavior and in masculinity as a whole. It's a good read, pick it up for sure. But I don't know if that's what you'd be looking. I don't know if there really is a good source for that. I don't know if there'd be a book that would make it pick up. Yeah.
All right. Here's my question to her. Why do you want to understand men? Women can get laid any day of the week. Why do you want to understand men? Simple question.
Yeah. We'll see if there's a response. I like that. I know we had, we're coming up on a little bit of time. You said a little bit over an hour. So I want to make sure I got this in because this is something that I talk to my guys a lot. And, we haven't caught up a ton, but, I used to do the W-2 job, the 9-to-5 job, that sort of thing. And now running the community is my full-time gig. So like putting on trips, memberships, all that sort of stuff. For coming up on like 2 years, in about a month, it'll be 2 years just doing that full time. And so, we talk about brotherhood. We talk about the tribe a lot. How has being and continuously surrounding yourself with guys who think like you, act like you, walk like you, check your blind spots, be guys you can bounce ideas off of, like has that in any way helped you continue to stay sharp? Like how has that really affected you by having guys around? I've noticed that what'll happen is that guys will come into this space and then they'll get a girl and they'll leave, or they'll fall back into bad habits because they don't have guys that are checking them saying, hey, dude, probably shouldn't do that. Or that's probably not a great idea. How much of that do you experience with, the Rule Zero guys and just the guys that you roll with in the space?
Well, if they wouldn't be an asset to my life, they wouldn't be there in one way or another. So that's the first answer. And I am now doing Red Evening for about 7 years. It's a show I do on Friday night with my co-host Rob from robsays.com. That man is more than a brother to me. And he's not some 6'5" jacked whatever. He's just some 5'4" bald dude with a beard and a blue collar job. But by God, does he hold my feet to the fire when I do something stupid. And that man has helped me keep on track for a long time. There was a period of time with a girl, and he wasn't sure about it, but he was like, look, I can't tell you what to do. You go do it. But he did do this. Whatever happens, I will be here. And that was all I needed to know. He's like, you go burn or have your fun or whatever, but whatever happens, I'll be here. And I do the same with my friends. There are friends of mine who made decisions where I'm like, I do not know about this, but I care enough about you that if it goes wrong, I will still be here because I know you're not going to listen to me, because I also know me, where I'm one of those guys who wants to be on his deathbed and say, at least I did it. And same as this YouTube thing, like a couple of my old friends found it, and I mean, they don't talk to me anymore because they thought I'm some raging misogynistic far right. And at first, that kind of was like, oh my God, what have I done? And I can't erase this. And then I just continue doing it, and I'm now a published author. It's kind of working off, and at least I tried. At least I did it. And when it comes to my friends, I approach them the same way. Like my best friend right now, he's like broken up with his girlfriend for the third time or something. 2 weeks ago, I texted him. I'm like, hey, how are things going? He's like, yeah, everything's great. And I was like, weren't you broken up last week? And it's like, and now you want to tell me that all of a sudden she has like corrected her behavior, which usually takes about 6 weeks or something. But I kept my mouth shut because it wasn't my hill to die on. I was like, okay, I am happy that you are happy. Now, there are instances where I do step out of line, where it's like, hey, if I know something about her that could genuinely be detrimental, then I would like step out of line, where it's like, no, you're not going to do this. And here's why. Now, I would still hold the position of, if you're going to do it anyway and you're not going to listen to me, I will be there when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's what friends are for. But if I just have a hunch, I keep my mouth shut unless I'm asked, because, proper manners. But if there's like a real bad thing where it's like, oh no, I know this girl XYZ has like news floating around with everyone in the gym, things like that. I knew a guy in my gym. He got with the town bicycle, and I knew she was the town bicycle, but I only spoken to the kid once or twice. I'm not going to step to him as the gym clerk being like, hey, about your girlfriend. Like, But if that would have been an actual friend of mine, I would have given the number of a couple of dudes who I knew she had been with, who I knew still had photos of her, where it's like, hey, you might want to talk to these guys first before you make any rash decisions,
Yeah.
And some guys have done it with me too, where it's like, I don't know about this. Are you sure? Like, might not be. Like Rob, he told me, like, if you're going to do Red Evening as like reactionary content and talk about the latest gossip, I'm out. I'll still love you like a brother. I do. And I wish you all the best, but I'm out.
Yeah.
And he, even on air, when I was venting about something, like, he looked at me. He's like, Jack, you're being a douche. Like, just live on air. And I was like, you're right. Huh. Like, check me on air. Didn't care at all. Like, I don't care you put your face on camera. You're being a douche, and I don't want you to be a douche. So you can choose. That was a how do you phrase that? That was a moment, a wake-up moment where it's like,
humbling.
Yeah.
Kind of had that knee-jerk reaction. You go, whoa, holy shit. And then it's like, okay, this is somebody telling me something. Maybe I should take a break or take a pause and try to really figure out what this, because the natural reaction is to lash back out and say, fuck you, I'm not a douche, right? But you put somebody in the position where they can check you, and you give them that, like, you give them that trust. And like, that's what it's really about. Like, what real brotherhood is, nobody, you surround yourself by a bunch of yes men, you're screwed. You can't do it. I have
seen what happens with that in this space. When you surround yourself by only yes men, it is not going to end well. It is absolutely. And I'd rather be embarrassed on camera by my friends every now and then than end up as a lol cow.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. And still till this day, we make jokes about it. You know, we just make jokes.
Yeah.
I named the title of that show Jack's a douche. It's like, yeah, where it's like, yeah, it happens. It happens. Sometimes you just have to be checked. So no, it's helped me out tremendously with everything. They've been critical about my book when I needed to edit it. They ripped me to shreds. Where it's like, well, if my friends already say that, I don't even want to know what the audience says about that.
Yeah, of
So back
course.
to the
It's going to
editor
be a
it
billion
goes.
times worse. Yeah.
Yeah, back to the
Well,
editor it goes.
I think you said something really important, but I also wanted to challenge something, or I wanted to get maybe your thoughts more on this because I want to see where you think about this piece. But I think to your point that you say, you can't tell people what to do. You don't write prescriptions. It's like, I can't do it for you. I can't tell you what to do because you're going to do what you want to do.
Mhm.
You'll take what I have to say into consideration. I'm a trusted advisor. It's ultimately your decision. But the important part is I'll be here if and when it does go wrong. I think a lot of guys, some of the guys that I mentioned, because this has happened in the community, it happens to everybody, or not everybody, but it happens to guys. There's always a percentage of dudes where they do this. They come into the group or they come into the space, they learn some stuff, they get a chick, and then they bounce. They fall back into bad habits. They don't keep doing the things they're supposed to do. She bounces on them, but they don't come back. And I think a lot of that has to do with feeling shame or that they're going to be embarrassed or judged. And we're going to say like, hey, we told you so, motherfucker, or they've got to kind of earn their right back in. So I like the idea of saying, hey, man, like if this doesn't work out, like we'll be here. But at some point, just like your friend Rob did, there's got to be a point where you're like, hey, man, this has got to stop. Like you can't keep doing this over and over ad nauseum and expect me to continue to be that shoulder to cry on or the listening ear or just to, where do you kind of draw that line? Like where do you, to where it becomes, I mean, you mentioned before, it's if they're not bringing value and if they're being a detriment, but it's like, there's gotta be a line in there somewhere, right? Where it's like, I cannot let this behavior to continue and continue to be this friend for a guy who's going to continue to make bad decisions and just expects me to just, continue to just be there for perpetual support.
I draw the line with addiction. That is a beast I will not face. It's like, no, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
It's like, no. Financially and addiction, I'm not doing it. It's like, no. I like friends who all of a sudden come out of nowhere and want to borrow shit. What's like, no. Like I will help you to be able to get it yourself. That's fine. But we're not doing this borrowing and investing. And no, we're not doing it. You're going to get a job. I will help you get a job and you will get back on your feet. But none of this keeping my hand up and what, because you're never going to get it back anyway. Like you're going to be, I refuse to be an enabler. I think that's the best way of putting it. I refuse to be an enabler. Like I will help them get help. Absolutely. But none of that stuff. Or a guy who keeps getting back with his ex where it's like she cheated, whatever. I actually had a friend who it turned out all right, by the way, and I had to swallow my words. But he started dating a girl who was still married. And he knocked her up. And he was going to marry her. And I told him flat out, I'm like, hey, you are my friend. And I completely disagree with this. I think this is the dumbest thing you can do. I'm fully against it. However, if you really think that this is the best thing to do, I will catch you when you fall. And it's been 4 to 5 years, or maybe even longer. They have their second kid right now. And I've met her even. And they're doing great. For now. And
as always.
For now, I've said, you know what? I will swallow my words. You did good. His kids look great. She still looks great. She didn't pull the grenade on him. So, but I have set my piece where it's like, she is still married and she's still, I mean, what makes you think she won't do it with you kind of thing?
Yeah.
So
it's a good point. Well, I know we're going to start to wrap up here, man. I really appreciate it. I want to grab one more question. Maybe we can just end on this. So this is a two-parter, two messages. Most of my friends have been through traumatic things together, up to and including fistfights. Most of the guys I grew up with, though, are plugged in and low achievers. How do you develop that level of trust with someone brand new? How do you develop that same chemistry with new guys? I'm more of a soloist, and I have a no new friends type of guy, so this is relatively new for me. How would you respond to that, Jay?
So most of your friends have been through traumatic things together. Oh, you and your friends have been through traumatic things together.
I think, yeah, I think he's trying to say, how do I recreate that with new guys, or how do I, how do I build the chemistry with new? Because he's saying, my old friends, we've gone through stuff together, but they're plugged in, they're blue pill, they're not where they should
No.
be. So I'm trying to have that same chemistry with newer guys. How do I get there?
Mhm. It takes time. And with your current friends, lead by example. I've had friends who, I mean, when I started going to the gym and things like that, it took them a while, you know? And I showed them some things and I was very enthusiastic about it, but it took them ages sometimes to get into the gym. But also I found that like my best friend, he doesn't go to the gym, but he has so many other qualities that other people don't like. He's not a piece of shit. Absolutely not. Like he's thin, things like that, and he is an amazing, amazing guitar repairman. Like he has his purpose. He is a man on his mission, kind of thing. Now, in his case, it means he's not going to the gym. Ale, sure. He likes hiking, things like that, survivaling. I've seen his knife collection. I'm like, oh hell no. I mean, good luck to the man who ever breaks in his house, kind of thing. But he's but if you have friends who are like addicts and all they do is like sit at home, binge Netflix, things like that. Yeah, lead by example. Don't try to drag them into it, but also be a little bit more um how do you phrase that? Guard your time more. When they call you to hang out, where it's like, "Hey man, sorry I'm doing this. Hey man, sorry I'm doing that." And then you'll find that the people who do want to be with you start to adapt to you. Where it's like the guys who are in that horrible situation right now might have a like come to Jesus moment where it's like, you know what? I've always really appreciated him. I see he's improving. Maybe he's onto something now. And for the ones who don't, I'm sorry. That
Mm.
yeah, you just have to passively cut them loose. Just don't text them anymore. And when they text you, be nice, be kind, things like that. Maybe hang out with them once or twice, but I would stop initiating contact. Now, for the new people, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. I moved to a completely new city in a completely different country. I didn't know anybody here. So I started doing things that I like doing. I started looking for the expat community. I started visiting game nights. I started visiting events they were hosting. And yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's a miss. I was like, not really people I can hang out with. But then if you just keep doing it, you're going to run into the people who you can hang out with. Like last week, I met this bartender. Great dude. Is from Belarus. Been through a lot. But I noticed he knows his way around women. So we just started talking and he noticed the same things I started to notice. And we had coffee this week and we started talking more. It's like, you know what? This guy is actually pretty switched on. I met a South African guy who, might not be the greatest guy in the gym. Absolutely not. But mentally, intellectually, he is a great conversationalist, has been through hell, and we can level with each other. So give it time, give it space, and stop wanting to be right is also a big one. Choose your hills to die on. Like, not everybody you meet is going to agree with you on everything, and they don't have to, and you don't have to. Keep an open mind, and you'll see that people might not hit with you on every area, but they hit you in enough areas.
Yeah, I buy all that, man. I would say the only thing I would add is taking it maybe one step further. If you really want to develop that camaraderie and you really want to develop what a true tribe is, I think that it's, between my own experiences in the brotherhood and putting on trips and events, we almost always try to do some sort of physical, tough training expedition, whatever it might be. And even books that I've read from guys that have run military units, and it's like, yeah, we spend a lot of time together, we hang out, we party, we have meals, we have conversations, but the one true thing that brings us closer together and builds camaraderie more than anything else is doing hard shit. and it's doing hard things together. So find those guys that, again, think like operate the way that you do, and then put a trip together, or find a group like that. That's what our thing is all about. Anybody can go grab a beer or whatever it is, or have a cigar, and that's all fine, well and good. I want to see the guys that are going to come to Tampa and do the MMA meetup, right? That are going to do that are going to come down and train at this, Deep Woods Ranch here in Florida and do combat training and obstacle course work, people that are going to run a 10K Spartan race with me, that sort of thing. So, because I think that tells you so much about who a person is, how will they respond when things get hard, and then how are you going to be able to depend on them when times do get tough, like when you're in need or when they're in need. And is this somebody who's going to quit at the first sign of trouble, or is this somebody who's going to say, hey man, like whatever you need, I'm there. We've been through all this other shit together. We were in San Diego together, getting smoked on the beach and going in and out of the surf, and I was pulling you out of there because you couldn't breathe. So, whatever you need, I'll be there. So that's what I would say. I would say, find those people, do the things that you like to do, and then just find a way. It's like, hey man, let's do some hard shit. Let's not just sit around and talk. Let's go do something. Let's book a trip, like an excursion. And that's really like what I do in the Brotherhood. Is we're really focused on the online stuff is just a means of keeping in touch while we're waiting for the next offline trip or the next in-person event to go and do some hard stuff. And it changes everything, because now you're no longer an online avatar. Like, you've met in person, you've broken bread, you've shaken hands, you've sparred, you've lifted each other up, and it completely just takes that relationship to the next level. So yeah, that would be my advice to that. But
no, I agree. A great addition where it's like, go and do things.
Do
together.
shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Totally. Jack, this has been great, man. I know it's late for you. I want to give you a chance. I definitely want to do this again. I know I think we could go for much longer, but I know I want to be respectful of the time. Tell the people where they can find you, anything, you want to talk about the book a little bit and plug that as a little bit as well. If the people want to follow you and listen to what you got to say more, where can they find you?
So my YouTube channel is now in the chat. You can find me on youtube.com/@JackNapierKnows. And the book on women is out now, available on Amazon via paperback and Kindle. 200 pages of condensed red pill lessons, successes, failures, and notes swapped. Let's see. The link to that will also be in the chat. And for most of my work, you can go to substack.com/Jack Napier. And that's it. Oh, sorry. jacknapier.substack.com. I get that conflicted every now and then. There we go.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Awesome, man.
Oh, I can't post links in the chat. Oh, well.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'll put them in
the description. We'll put in the chat, or we'll put in the comment. We'll put everything in the put in the private chat. I'll make sure everything gets into the description, and we'll go from there, and like a pinned comment, so they can figure all that stuff out. But yeah, man, this is fantastic. Guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap there. Again, follow Jack. He's a great guy. I'm definitely looking forward to collabing again in the future and staying in touch. But yeah, man, definitely would love to do this again when schedules align. And hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow Jack, subscribe to his as well. Like the video, all the stuff that helps with the algorithms and boost this, so we can get in touch with more men and have them see it and help more of those guys. That's the whole point of what we do. So I really appreciate it again, man. And yeah, let's definitely do it again soon.
Small effort. I'd love to do it again, man. Thanks for having me.
Right on, man.